I just got off and it's my birthday. Hey, I took off for the day too. Anyways, y'all, I am giving back this year for my birthday in so many ways. And my first is with story time of how we've been misinformed about sex and what sex is. Sex. So, me and my mother, no one in my family have had, before I ever had sex, a sex talk with me, right? The most my mother ever did was ask me one day in 10th grade, it was 11th grade, if I was sexually active, and I had told her no, I was waiting until marriage, which was true in its own ways and aspects. But as a child, went into, becoming a woman, teen years into adult years, with things just being so accessible. So as a child, sometimes we would peruse the TV after dark, and this is like going on BET after dark. Y'all supposed to be asleep. I think they call it uncut. I can't remember right now. But when they be playing Nelly Tip Drill, I wasn't supposed to be up. Anyways, so almost had a heart attack. Somebody. All right, so think about that car going down the crack. But yes, so watching white porn, because that's what was on TV on like the higher channels up, unpaid for after dark plotted porn scenes, right? You know how they do with the oh, let's have a barbecue, and then oh, it's massage time. Who knows, with the whole storyline for the love making. And like once too, I'm remembering seeing my auntie had a deck of playing cards, right? But it had all naked men on it. I had to be like a little under 10. And we used to open up them deck of cards whenever we got a chance. Cause you can still find them online too. Not gonna lie, I looked it up a few years back. I'm gonna say a good smooth 5 years back. And I found some, but I was like, okay, that's what's up. They still making them. But yeah, and they be dressed up like with a cowboy hat on, with some jeans on, with his dick just hanging out through the zipper. Excuse my, French pennies. But no, it's just so funny, like our different introductions to sex, and then how we never have conversations about it. And then, like, these are things I remember just before I even began to be sexually active. One time I watched a Lifetime movie where there was this couple, and the man basically forced himself onto his wife, meaning she didn't want it. It was unconsensual. So basically, he raped his wife. And I really believe that I won't say it was based on a true story, but I think it was depicted around how, that can be a thing now that I believe. Or at least they made it a thing in the movie because of what she experienced. I'll leave that there. Because that's not something I've looked up even, I'll say a good 20 years after I've seen that movie. But, that, and then my grandmother. Okay, so my grandmother loving the movie The Color Purple, and what's love got to do with it. Okay, I'm under 10 watching those too, so it's just like, you really have to be mindful, number one, of what your kid has access to. And I'm speaking of my kids too. When you are not around, when you are unsuspecting. and not expecting them to be in things, right? So I'm saying that to say keep things guarded. They have parental controls now. That was not a thing back in the day. You had to be up to catch us. But yeah, so that leads me into like being a person who have always enjoyed touch and sensuality and the idea of being romanced and all of this fun stuff, right? And romance means like my man rubs my bubble baths, you know, takes me out on weekly dates, buys me, we'll just say bi-weekly flowers because we know those can last a while if you take care of them. And writing love letters. Mind you, this is very reciprocal, into whatever, my partner considers as romance as well. I'm willing to be that. I will be that. I do that. But, it just, after seeing so many different examples, it's like, who are you sexually and what were all of those examples, right? So as I named off a few movies and shows and different things like that, of course we see other things like The Cosby Show and Soul Food, which, got some good and, some mixed life in it. And different other movies of the African diaspora that, you could call out to give your, your mediocre, ochre. I believe I'm saying that right. Yeah, your mediocre black love families, and then, the high level, and then, yeah, the low level, because you could go into like the little crack movies and shit. I'm gonna say like New Jack City. I'm just gonna name that one, just to name one. But just coming into womanhood and trying to understand what sex is, never really having a conversation or even feeling open enough to discuss it with my sisters, whether older or younger. Not even really talking about it with my friends, because it's just like such a, and even still a taboo subject. Like, there's not very much people who still, I mean, times have changed, but, where they're just, will tell you about their sex life or are willing to answer a question that's, has resonance to the bliss realm, because that's still very private, so to speak of as sacred, which we weren't taught that if you never even had one conversation with your family about it, right? So our bodies are very sacred, okay? Our DNA, all of us have different DNA, different aspects of the self that make us who we are, that allows us to like what we like when we're being touched, when we're being penetrated. And this is not just with the privates, this is through a piercing of the mental space, a piercing of the heart, so there's a lot of sharing that happens. And first of all, to even get to the point of sex with someone, the frequency has to be definitely right. It ain't just no, this is what we doing on no lust stuff, because when you're bringing in that high level energy, this is when you can, start clearing and healing things on each side of y'all bloodlines, going in, doing manifestations of what you want to allow to come into, this now lifetime. So, your body as a woman, it tells you, it warns you of which man not to give yourself to. You hear her, and she's like, it's too soon. And this could be a too soon of, you don't know this person well enough, and maybe you'll never know them well enough. It's a gentle nudge. And then there's the ones that, are pussy screams to us about, like, not this one, you know? And it's just you being in your discernment, you being in tune and attuned to your body to understand when your pussy is sending you warnings, right? Because this creates our experiences as well. Being able to hear what she is saying, to be able to create a relationship with her before anyone else has ever laid eyes, hand, breath, penetration upon her, right? Being able to dive in and digest this person so sweetly and so gently and so blissfully, but with the knowing of who this person is that you're sharing your time with. Okay, I always say and always feel like people, we as humans, we're always and constantly evolving, right? Ascending. And I feel like at times that there is no way to fully just know someone this lifetime, because we change so much, but to know someone consistently and constantly at who they are at their heart space, that should give you enough understanding and resonance of who you're dealing with, right? And same for them with you. But yeah, so when we allow ourselves to go into sex, when we do feel that we're ready, which I know we have sex at different ages and we're called to experience and explore that at different times, but I really feel like mentally how humans are wired, we shouldn't be having sex like before knowing who we are. Yeah, which can take a long time, and I know that sounds far, but it's true. And the person who you're sleeping with also should know who they are. It just makes for a more blissful experience. And then to add in, you knowing what you like or what you want to experience and or explore. But mostly I want to speak on going into your sexual encounters from a pure heart space. And what does this feel like? What does this look like? This is visceral and this is mental and this is it's spiritual, deeply so. How to go into a sexual encounter with a pure mind space, heart space, womb space, and same for men, sacral space is for everyone. Your intuition will tell you, but for me, the most purest encounter I ever had, there was two, was me going into the experience with no expectations. I had not seen his penis, felt his penis, dreamt of the penis before the day I saw it. And I didn't have a mindset of, oh, is it gonna please me? Am I gonna fulfill him? How big is it? will my pussy be tight enough? And this is just, just random shit to throw in the air, but you get what I'm saying? So it's like, stay out of your head on the basics, on the 3D love, lusty aspects of partnership in, within the sexual encounter aspect, right? So when you go into this, you want to have a mindset of pure intentions. You're not here to hurt them. You're here to witness who they are, who they be, who they allow you to see, right? 555. So the other person has to be a mirror of what you are mirroring as well. So it's a reciprocal kind of like role play, right? Between energy, and you are allowing yourself to be in the flow, okay? You're not telling this person, oh, I want to be fucked right here, put your tongue right there, kiss me here. No. Frequency is everything. Body's intuition is everything. This person is going to know exactly what to do, exactly where to kiss, exactly when to penetrate on any and every level. Okay? And if y'all like to pray, prayer can be a special part to bring in. If you want to light some candles, that can be very special. And also just having two people of the same pure-hearted heart space, right? So for now, this is where I pause. I'll do a part 2 on this later. So yeah, I may title this like bringing purity into a blessed room with your partner or something like that, Yeah, in part 2 I'll tell you more about manifesting through sex magic, which I don't like to call it that. I just I made up a term for it actually. It's called manifest. Sextation. Manifestation. So it's like manifestation, but it's manifestation because it's like you're using sex as a very, very divine tool, because our sexual energy is one of the most, no, it's the most, even higher than love. Even higher than unconditional love is the sexual frequency, what brought us all here, right? That's what I believe the true Big Bang was, like the womb of the we're gonna call it cosmania, like that just sounds really good. The womb of the cosmania being fucked. But I love y'all. Hope this finds you well. Like, share, subscribe. My name is Ishani. And yeah, wish me a happy birthday if you got to this part.